And if you say to me, well, why is he out? I have no idea. I wonder if it has anything to do with Pineda.
Well, and it evidently does.
And here's Jerry Davis going to the mound.
And he's going to talk to Pineda.
And, of course, that means that sooner or later Joe Girardi will come out. He looks at his hand. Now he looks at the glove.
Now he's looking at the hand.
His hand is clean.
Both hands are clean. Now they're looking. He's actually touching the back of his jersey, looking at the belt. Derek Jeter standing right there. He was the first one over. They're looking at the back of the neck.
And he got thrown out of the game. So Pineda must have had something on his neck. Don't worry about it. The Yankees will do this with Boston pitchers. So Pineda's been thrown out of the game.
Those two are embarrassing. Mr. and Mrs. Howell. I mean, we play them constantly because they're fun to make fun of. But when it really boils down to it, I mean, that's an embarrassment. That call right there was an embarrassment. Your job there is to tell us what's going on, right? And it's like, oh, why is he going out there? Oh, they're checking his hands. Yes, his hands are clean. Both hands are clean.
This must have something to do with Pineda.
It's like, my God. What did they tell us what was going on there? It was like, oh, well, don't worry. Joe Girardi's going to do the same thing. Like,
the Empire Strikes Back.
Well, like, immediately their backs get up. And it's like you couldn't really tell what was going on. It is just, you know how I feel about hometown announcing.
He's checking his hand. Now he's checking his glove, checking his hand again.
It's funny you guys are impersonating it. I happened to be listening to our station last night. I don't remember the time.
10:50 p.m.
Oh, don't worry, Susan.
So it was at night, and I don't know, Maz. You ever listen to Pac-Man Jones' show? You ever wonder what goes on here at night in the middle of the night?
I do. I wonder constantly what goes on at night because I'm usually watching games, and sometimes I listen on the way home.
You know, but it's like, you know, I feel for him because it's a tough time spot. Sometimes you're going up against a game, and there's not as many listeners there in general as there is, like, say, during the day. They don't have the benefit of a nice simulcast audience like we do. So sometimes you just wonder, like, what do they do at night?
Right, you got to be creative.
Well, so I guess this is what they do at night.
Now here's John Farrell.
No.
And if you say to me,
no, just give me the first one, Jimmy, first, please.
Jones and Keefe, the married couple.
What do they do at night? The one we just broke out, Jimmy.
Just the two night guys.
Roger Clemens is in George Steinbrenner's box.
Remember that one? That was one of my favorites.
Oh, the drama! Goodness gracious! Roger Clemens!
Did your computer crash?
No, I thought this was the cut you wanted.
No. Just
that we
them.
just went over.
No, just those two.
now here's John Farrell.
No.
Thought you didn't want this one. I'm sorry. I'll reload.
Oh, boy, we are all on the same page right here, aren't we?
Wow.
Here's John Farrell. And if you say to me, why is he out? I have no idea. I wonder if it has anything to do with Pineda, Susan.
Well, and it evidently does.
And here's Jerry Davis going out to the mound.
And he's going to talk to Pineda.
And that, of course, means, Susan, the sooner or later that Joe Girardi will come out, he looks at his hand, now he looks at his glove.
Now he's looking at the hand. His hand!
His hand is clean, Susan.
Both hands are clean. Now they're looking. He's actually touching the back of his jersey. Looking at his belt. Derek Jeter, the captain, standing right there. He was the first one there looking at the back of his neck.
And he has been ejected, Susan.
Wow.
He's thrown out of the game. Pineda must have had something on his neck. Don't worry about it. The Yankees will do this with Boston pitchers.
Oh, excellent.
But again, what do they do at night?
That is terrific.
That's it.
That's pretty good imitations on the part of the two of them.
Outstanding.
Oh, very good.
I didn't say it was bad. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, we're going to play that again. That was good.
So the thing Jimmy was trying to play before is then what they did is that they layered themselves over the actual call from Sterling and Waldman, and then this is what it sounds like.
Now here's John Farrell.
And if you say to me, why is he out?
Why is he out?
No idea. I wonder if it has anything to do with Pineda, Susan.
Well, and it evidently does.
And here's Jerry Davis going to the mound.
And he's going to talk to Pineda.
And
of
that,
course, that means that sooner or later Joe Girardi will come out.
Sooner or later, the Joe Girardi will come out.
He looks at his hand. Now he looks at his glove.
Now he's looking at the hands.
His hand is clean,
Susan.
Both hands are clean. Now they're looking. He's actually touching the back of his jersey. Looking at his belt. Derek Jeter, the captain, standing right there. He was the first one there looking at the back of his neck.
And he has been ejected, Susan.
And he got thrown out of the game. So Pineda must have had something on his neck. Don't worry about it. The Yankees will do this with Boston pitchers. So Pineda's been thrown out of the game.
Out of the game.
Got a tang with there at the end, Jones.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So if you ever wondered what the hell goes on at night here at 98.5 The Sports Hub, there you have it right there.
This is Boston's home for sports from the Town Fair Tire Studio. WBZ-FM and HD1 Boston 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Well, hi, everybody. Bob Newmeyer with the Chevrolet Sportsnet Central update. According to multiple reports, Henrik Zetterberg will return to the Red Wings lineup when the Bees face Detroit in Game 4 tonight. It's not official as yet. Zetterberg will get a doctor's opinion, but if he does hit the ice, his teammates will be glad to have him.
I would expect to see him compete with all he's got and give it his all on his ice. And it's maybe something a lot of guys need to see around him.
Meanwhile, Daniel Paille will not return to the Bruins lineup tonight. However, Coach Claude Julien saying that he is closer to a return. Therese Bergeron has been nominated as one of the 3 finalists for the Selke Trophy. That's given to the best defensive forward. Jonathan Taves and Anze Kopitar are the other 2 finalists. The Red Sox wrap up their series with the Yankees tonight, but the big story, no doubt, Michael Pineda, ejected from last night's game for using excessive pine tar. The Sox reacted after the game.
Guys do it, and I don't have a problem with guys that do it. Like I said, I mean, because I know as a hitter, I want to get in there and another guy has, especially the night it was cold, it was windy. You know, you put it on your hat, put it on your pants, put it on your belt, put it on your glove, whatever you got to do. But at some point, you know, you just can't do it that blatant.
And just one day after reports that Pacers head coach Frank Vogel was coaching for his job, Pacers GM Kevin Pritchard said not so fast, that Vogel's job is in fact safe. This after a conversation with Pacer president Larry Bird. Coming up tonight on Comcast Sportsnet, Chevrolet Sportsnet. Central starts at 6. Arbella early edition at 6:30. And be sure to start Game 4 coverage with pregame live at 7:30.
Waldman and Sterling?
By all means. Yes, you didn't play it all the first time.
Because I'll tell you what, I thought the first clip we played of Sterling and Waldman is just, again, it's just embarrassing. Like, your job there is to tell us what's going on. You didn't notice the pine tar in the neck? Like, you're acting as surprised. It's like they're in cahoots. It's like, oh, well, both hands are clean. Well, it's on his neck. You know it's on his neck. Why don't you say it? Why don't you tell the viewers what's going on? He's got something on his neck, and they're checking his hand. You know, but instead it's like, oh, well, his back's clean. His hands are clean. Like, those two are a joke. They're embarrassing. But after that initial sort of foray, oh, don't worry, Susan, Joe Girardi's going to be doing the same thing. They actually did give you some decent commentary. Go ahead.
But this has now started something that is going to happen. There's, what, 17 more games? 16 more games? Whatever it is, 15 more games? Now, this is going to start something that maybe the Red Sox didn't want to start.
Why would Pineda, after what happened last time, why would he have anything on him?
I haven't the slightest idea. Unless, and I think the difference between the first inning and this inning was so marked that maybe, well, what the Red Sox said last time, remember, the feeling was everybody does it to get some feel on your fingers to grip the ball, but don't be so obvious about it. And we've just got a close-up of it, and you can see it in below his right ear.
Yes, he has something on his neck, which I gather is... I shouldn't gather. I don't know what it is. But
Stop.
I don't want to speculate, Susan.
Come on.
He might have had some cake and honey in the clubhouse before the game, Susan.
But at least now they're questioning, Pineda and his thought process here, which again was highly questionable.
Yeah, my guess is there was no thought process with Pineda, which is part of the problem. Anyway,
just play the end of it.
Yes, he has something on his neck, which I gather is... I shouldn't gather. I don't know what it is, but let's say, for argument's sake, let's say it's pine tar, and he had it on the back of his neck, and what Farrell must have seen, they must have seen him touching his neck.
Right.
You know, like Buckholz touches his hair all the time.
Okay, you know, but again,
here we go. This gets good again.
They can't help themselves, right? Like, well, his guy does it too. You know, just like Buckholz with the back of his hair. Like, oh, you watch, Gerard. He's going to do the same thing.
Oh, I wonder what it is in Buckholz's hair, Susan. He looks like a greasy little fella.
He didn't mind speculating about Buckholz, did he?
No, because here it comes.
Right. Now, John Sterling, I have a question for you. And I don't think I blame John Farrell. I'm worried about what's going to happen after this. But after last time, why would Michael Pineda come out there with pine tar on his neck?
Ridiculous. You knew the scrutiny would be on him. And how could the Yankees allow him to do that?
So you know what? That's enough. I mean, so at least they got to it, right? It took them a while, and they didn't tell you what was actually going on, but they did actually get to the rub of the matter, which is what was
Yes, he has something on his neck, which I gather is. I shouldn't gather. I don't know what it is, but let's say, for argument's sake, let's say it's pine tar.
For argument's sake.
Hypothetically, Susan.
But again, the whole thing was fabulously entertaining.
Oh, it was great. Are you kidding? I told you. Look, the Red Sox and Yankees could use some of this. They could use some of this. A little sort of tension and gamesmanship between the two, long overdue.
But like I said to you before, Maz, I do not think this is going to initiate a tit for tat. I do not believe that.
Yeah. Let's see.
I do not believe that the Yankees are going to be checking Red Sox pitchers. I do not believe that as you go series to series, this is going to ramp up. I do not believe that because I think that the first priority of these players and managers is to maintain the status quo, and the status quo is pitchers loading the baseball. And no one wants to take that out of the game, it doesn't feel like to me. So if the Yankees start going after the Red Sox, and then it just opens up a can of worms. We will get to your calls in a second, folks, but right now we have breaking news.
From Boston's home for sports, this is Breaking News, powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Major League Baseball has handed down the suspension for Michael Pineda, and they have gone with the automatic suspension. He's been banned for 10 games.
So, no shock there. I mean, to me, that was a given.
Have you checked the off days? Is it does he miss one start or two?
He's only going to miss one start.
One start. And that's, I don't know. What do you think of that?
Well, to me, that was a given. He was going to get 10. But it's games, right? So how does he only miss one start?
It's 10 games. The next 10 games, he's only scheduled to have one start. The way their schedule lines up.
Well,
he's going to miss a start in there anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Well, no, they'll pitch him the 11th game is what it comes down to, but effectively it's two starts. They're going to have somebody fill in twice somewhere in there, because, again, they do it by games, not days. And so, look, it's the right thing to do. You can't, when a guy gets tossed, to me it sort of goes along with the territory. I thought it was mandatory if you want to know the truth. So I'm surprised there was any gray area at all. Had it been anything less than that? Joke, when Joel Peralta did this, what was it, 3 years ago now, I think, he got 8, and he's a reliever. So Pineda, you could say, got off light.
Okay, so Pineda had been suspended for 10 games. What's your thought on what happened last night? The whole thing. We've been talking about it pretty much since the get-go today. Dennis in Hull, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Hi, guys. I agree with Mazz about this guy being a real pinhead, this Pineda. I mean, does he understand the word discretion? I mean, why didn't he put the pine tar on his face? But on a serious note, I don't understand how you guys or anyone else, for that matter, can agree or approve of this kind of cheating. I mean, they go through baseball, dozens of baseballs during the course of a game. And if they change the ball, if there's a shadow on it, for God's sake, if it hits the ground, they're changing the ball. So how can anyone approve of this kind of cheating?
I don't. Personally, I would love to see baseball try and go to a zero tolerance. Here's an idea. Have the pitcher throw the baseball with nothing on his hand. Easily enforceable. Easily. You just check him every half inning on his way out. Take 30 seconds. Look in his glove, look at his mullet, look inside his belt buckle. Wouldn't take that long. Check before every half inning. You could eliminate it in literally the stroke of a pen. And if they did that tomorrow, I would be in full favor. Here's an idea. Let's play a baseball game on the level. See what that looks like.
Well, to me, it's got to be one or the other, right? Like either outlaw it or make it legal. One or the other. That way there's no gray area. Now, look, as it is...
Maz, tell me why they haven't made it legal, because we've talked about this. Every single baseball player and manager has said, we don't have a problem with Pineda putting pine tar on the ball or his hand. We just don't like that it was blatant. So every player, every manager, everyone has said it's fine. Pine tar's fine. So why don't they just make it legal?
Well, my guess is they don't want to set some sort of precedent that will then open the door for guys to get more aggressive. Right? So you say, well, this is legal. Then the guys start going, they push the envelope even more. And that's my guess. I don't have any real explanation for you, Mike. If you were to say to me, have I had this discussion with people in baseball, my answer is no. But I would guess that that's what it is. No, I would just legalize it.
So out there you have a rosin bag, you have a pine tar rag, and you have a little thing of bullfrog. I mean, if everyone's cool with it, I don't get why it's not legal.
Yeah, look, and this is part of the reason why it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. Because effectively, it is legal, right? They don't call it, and they say it's not legal, but they don't call it. So then it's legal. I mean, you can do it as long as no one rats you out.
I mean, the rule is so old and outdated, it still says, National Association in there when you go for the automatic 10-game ban? Like, this is an old, outdated rule. That's what this is.
So, freshen it up. I'm fine with that. Dave in Pittsfield, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How are you?
Okay.
Well, I wanted to take Mr. Beadle and Tony to task on this because, honestly, what you're saying is you're saying that it's okay to cheat as long as you don't get caught. That's just like, guys doing steroids in Major League Baseball. If they don't get caught, it's all right to do it. If you want to get cheating out of the game, get it out of the game. Don't sit there and say, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, don't sit there and say, as long as you don't get caught, I am okay with it. But when you get caught, it bothers me.
I think your argument's more for Mazz than it is for me because I'm with you. I don't think that I think the way in which it's conducted now is foolish. Like, it should not matter whether or not it's hidden or not if everyone's okay with it. They should allow it altogether.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that Pineda got caught. I haven't lamented over that part of it, have I? Have I?
No, but you would agree that he should have been more discreet about it, and that's his problem.
I'm astonished that he could be so stupid. That's what I'm astonished by. Like, I just think the discretion is sort of understood. Like, don't be overly, you wouldn't walk around like with a container drinking booze in the middle of the city, would you? Like, no, because you're going to get busted
if everyone else was walking around the city with containers of booze out in the open, then I think you might consider it.
Well, okay, but you see where I'm going with this.
So it's not a fair comparison.
It is. I'm just saying that I'm astonished when there is an understanding. Whether the understanding is right or wrong is entirely debatable. I will grant you that. But when there is this understanding, for a guy to walk out on the mound with pine tar first on his hand, then on his wrist, and then the next game on the side of his neck, what type of moron do you have to be to pull that off?
Well, when your baseline is the understanding and you think the understanding is okay, then you would call him a moron. I think the understanding and the unwritten code is bullcrap. I think it's garbage.
Okay,
but I think it is.
But to me, that's a second argument, like that, or a separate argument. And again, I will engage you on that one. If you think it's bullcrap, fine. I told you I'd be okay with either legalizing or
I get what you're saying, though. Pineda should have known that if he was going to go out there and do this, Farrell was going to call him on it.
I'm astonished.
I do love the part where he didn't have anything on in the first inning and he got hit. He gave up 2 runs and he's like, all right,
up the grip.
Bam.
Right on the side of his neck.
After the game, he didn't try to hide it. What was it? Oh, it's pine tar. Like, that was it? Oh, yeah, pine tar. I had it on my neck.
All right, back to your phones after this.
Felger